Okay, guys, time for 5 more Hall of Famers. We're going to start out with Mr. Rube Marquard, this 1910 T206 beater. Pretty nice card. Bad condition, but I like the card. He was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1971. Considered the worst pitcher in the Hall of Fame, according to sabermetricians. But guess what? He still is a Hall of Fame. Funny story about Lou Holtz. He said, you know what they call the guy who finishes last in medical school? They call him doctor. So he is in, even though he is considered to be the worst Hall of Famer. He was, I'll give some of his stats here. He's got a 32.4 WAR, which don't put him ahead of very many players. Does put him ahead of Wally Pipp and Ted Kluszewski. He's got 201 wins, 177 losses, 3.01 ERA, 1,593 strikeouts, and 20 saves. He was interviewed for the 1966 books, The Glory of Their Times. And his chapter in that book is thought to be one of the primary reasons he was elected to the Hall of Fame. But most of the stories he recounted in the book turned out to be not true. So there you go. Rube Marquard. Next, we got John Smoltz, or Smoltzy. Another nickname he had was Marmaduke. 69 WAR. Ahead of players like Red Ruffing, Ed Walsh, and Louis Tiant. 1996 Cy Young, 8-time All-Star, 1995 World Series, NLCS MVP, Silver Slugger, and Rolaids Relief Pitcher of the Year. 213 wins, 154 saves, 3,084 strikeouts, and a 3.33 ERA. Only pitcher in history. Now, there's a lot of players who have played in baseball, but any of these players, anytime you hear it's the only time, baseball is synonymous with stats, and they keep them. So anytime somebody does something for the first time or the only time, it's a pretty big deal. Only pitcher in history with 200 wins and 150 saves. It's pretty awesome. Good friends with Tiger Woods, Doc Rivers, and Jeff Foxworthy. He's an accomplished accordionist. So I guess he can really scrub one off on the accordion. I don't know. And a distant cousin of fellow baseball Hall of Famer Charlie Gehringer. So, Smoltzy. Next. And to me, what may be one of the ugliest baseball cards of all time. It's a card. I don't know. Something just clashes with it. It looks like he should have a McDonald's M on his hat. But he was a good player. Ron Santo. No disrespect to Mr. Santo, but this card, to me, is hideous. I am looking to upgrade my Ron Santo card. So he's got a 70.5 WAR, which puts him ahead of Tony Gwynn, Eddie Murray, and Ernie Banks. So a little underappreciated as far as WAR goes. 9-time All-Star, 5-time Gold Glove, 2,254 hits, 342 home runs, 1,138 RBIs. First player to ever veto the 10-5 trade clause. Now, they used to have a 10-5 trade clause, and that was if you played in the league for 10 years and with the team for at least 5 years, you could veto a trade. So he was the first player to veto that. Also ranked as one of the 50 most loved announcers in baseball history. Spent a long time announcing for the Cubs, and they loved him. Battled diabetes pretty bad in his life, especially as a teenager. They didn't have the medicine back then like they do today to deal with it, and eventually lost both of his legs, had to be amputated because of diabetes. Ron Santo. Next up, another guy that according to his stats and his WAR, whether you believe in WAR or not, I'm not sure. Mr. Jeff Bagwell. He's got a 79.9 WAR, which puts him ahead of players like Pete Rose, Joe DiMaggio, and Ozzie Smith. 1991 Rookie of the Year. 1994 unanimous MVP. 4-time All-Star, Gold Glove, 3-time Silver Slugger, 449 home runs, lifetime .297 batting average, 2,314 hits, 1,529 RBIs, 202 stolen bases as well. Only player in MLB history with 6 seasons of at least 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, 100 runs, and 100 walks. Carl Yastrzemski was his favorite player growing up, and he was drafted in the 4th round by the Red Sox. So listen to this. He's 6th all-time in WAR for first baseman, behind Lou Gehrig, Albert Pujols, Jimmy Fox, Cap Anson, and Roger Connor. Jeff Bagwell. Next and last, we got one of the greats here. Mariano Rivera in the second-year Bowman card. Nicknamed Mo or Sandman. He's got some gaudy stats now. 13-time All-Star. He does have a 56.3 WAR, but I've discussed in other videos, WAR really doesn't work for relief pitchers. He's the best to ever do it, just know that. Got a lifetime 2.21 ERA, 82 wins, 5 World Series MVP, All-Star MVP, 5-time Rolaids Relief Pitcher of the Year, ALCS MVP, 652 saves. I'll say it again, 652 saves, and a lifetime 1.000 whip. Only led the majors in saves 3 different seasons, but he was known for longevity and consistency. He had 25 saves, at least 25 saves in 15 straight seasons. Holds all-time records for games finished, saves, and ERA plus, which takes into account the stadium you played in. Had a 2.21 lifetime ERA at Yankee Stadium, which is a cracker box. A lot of people consider it's an easy place to hit home runs. His ERA and his WHIP are the lowest in the live ball era. 2019 won the Presidential Medal of Freedom for philanthropy. Derek Jeter said he was the most mental tough player he ever played with. Was drafted with the 872nd pick in the draft. At age 21, he converted from Catholicism to be a Pentecostal, and his family followed suit. Here's a neat story. He said he was glad that the Yankees lost the 2001 World Series because he found out that his teammate, Enrique Wilson, would have stayed for the parade, the World Series parade, the celebration parade, the championship parade, and would have left a couple days later and would have been on American Airlines Flight 587, which crashed and killed 260 people. So he said, I'm glad we lost the World Series because I still have a friend. So one of the best to ever do it, Mariano Rivera. Thanks, guys.